Alright, our next video in the surface area line is the surface area of spheres. I'm going to take a look at a few examples here. The formula is really simple. All you need to do is find the radius of the sphere, which is sort of a linear dimension that goes from the center of the sphere to any point on the edge of the sphere. And remember, a sphere is a three-dimensional solid, but when we find the radius, we're literally going inside that three-dimensional solid, and the radius is going from the inside kind of out. And all you need to do is square that radius, multiply it by 4 pi, and you got your answer. Number 1. Surface area of this sphere when the radius is 35. So we're going to write down the formula. 4 pi r squared. Radius is 35. And then you just go right to your calculators and plug it all in. You get about 15,393. Remember, surface area is in units squared. So what that actually means, right, is that if you were to cover this sphere in paint, it would take you that much paint to cover the whole thing, right? Surface area is amount of space on the outside. Number 2. In this picture we have 4 spheres, 2 of which are congruent to each other, and the question's asking us for the total surface area of all 4. So here we go. I'm going to say that I'm just going to break them down into 4 different categories, and in order to find the surface area of any sphere you just need the radius. So let's just find the radius of each one, and the directions tell us that the radius of sphere A is 3 times longer than the radius of sphere C. The radius of sphere C is 4 feet, so I'll put that down here. Sphere A is 3 times longer than 4, so it's 12. The diameter of the 2 congruent spheres, B and D, is 9. So if the diameter is 9, then the radius is 4.5. And these are congruent, so the radii are the same. So here we go. All we need to do is find the total surface area of all 4. So you need to find the surface area of A plus the surface area of B plus the surface area of C plus the surface area of D. Keeping in mind that B and D are the same, so if you want to just multiply one of them by 2, you can. So we get total surface area is equal to, let's see, 4 times pi times 12 squared, 4 times pi times 4.5 squared, 4 times pi times 4 squared, and finally 4 pi times 4.5 squared. Multiply that all out into your calculator and you get 2519.557. Number 3. Alright, so our task here is to find the surface area of this sphere right here. So the first thing we need to do is find the radius. The radius of this sphere is, of course, not given. So we need to kind of read the problem here. It tells us that this guy's character is standing next to the sphere, and he notices, or he determines that the sphere is 4.5 times taller than he is. And he is 6 feet 3 inches tall, so what's the surface area of the sphere? Alright, so let's see. If this guy, if this is the man that we're referring to here, if he is 6 feet 3 inches, we need to convert that into just feet, or just inches. Let's stick with feet. So if it's 3 inches, it's 6 and then 3 over 12, which is 6.25. So our guy here is 6.25 feet tall. And this is telling us that the sphere is 4 times bigger than he is, 4.5 rather. So you need to go 4.5 times 6.25. And that'll give you the diameter of the sphere. It'll give you essentially the height of the sphere. How tall is it from the bottom to the top? All right, if you multiply that out, you get that the sphere is 28.125 feet tall. Well, what does it mean for a sphere to be 28.125 feet tall? That means that that's the diameter of the sphere. Well, we don't want the diameter, we want the radius, so you need to cut that in half. So the radius is 14.0625 feet. And then the surface area is 4 pi r squared. So you type that in and you get 2485.049. And you're done. Number 4, last one. The circumference of the Earth is just about 25,000 miles. All right, so what that means is if you were to stand, right here, need a different color. If you were to stand right here and walk all the way around and come back to right here, all right, that distance is 24,901 miles. But you have to make sure that you're walking along what we call the Great Circle. In other words, you're walking along the widest part of the circle. And it's easiest to think for us, the widest part of our Earth, of course, would be the equator. So it would go right here. All right, so that distance for our Earth is 24,901. And our job then is to calculate the radius. So we need to figure out the radius of our Earth. So we know that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Circumference is given. So to find radius, you just divide 24,901 by 2 pi. And when you do that, we get that the radius, let's see, 24,901 divided by, again, use those parentheses for the denominator, we get that the Earth's radius is 3,963 miles. Okay. The surface area from there is fairly simple. All you want to do is take 4 pi r squared. Use the radius above, and of course we're going to get a pretty humongous answer. This is the surface area of the Earth. And this is in square miles. And you're done. And a follow-up question, if we're saying that about 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, which is true, how many square miles of land are there on Earth? What you would do is you would take the total surface area, which includes land and water, and you would figure out if 71% is water, then what percent is land? And that, of course, would be 29. So 29% of the Earth is covered by land. So all you would do is then take your total surface area and multiply that by 0.29. and that's how much land there is on Earth. And I did that already. I got 57,237,637 square miles. So as you can see, that's a pretty big surface area of land. But as we probably know, most of the Earth, about 3/4 of the Earth, is covered by water. So there you go. There are four examples on spherical surface area.